As we heard a few moments ago, 6 alleged instigators of last week's violence and looting have now been arrested. 3 of them have already appeared in court, but they were remanded in custody. Acting Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, made the announcement at a briefing a little earlier. Now, a former radio DJ from KwaZulu-Natal is reported to be among those arrested. The suspects are facing charges of inciting violence.
This is the latest update which we just got in now. So you've got 6 arrests of the key instigators, and of those arrested, 3 suspects had already appeared, but they were remanded in police custody for bail hearings later in the week. We understand that there may be an appearance tomorrow or 2 appearances tomorrow, and the police will update us on that. And one of those who have been arrested was given bail as per the net joint statement. And the details of these cases will be provided later. But charges against them include incitement to commit public violence. And further arrests are expected soon. And the arrests we are referring to, we are not referring to the arrest that relates to the looting. And those arrests, the police continue to work with communities to make sure those who were responsible for the looting are arrested and those dealt with according to the provisions of the law.
Well, the minister's also said that 3 people have appeared in court, but we only know one name. So in Gauteng, a Patriotic Alliance West Rand leader is allegedly behind a voice note sent to several people telling them to block roads, leading, of course, to some of the violence we saw last week. Now, he is denying this. The eNCA reporter, Govan Whittles, was at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court, and he joins us now. Govan, good evening to you. So it's quite clear from the acting minister in the presidency that they're being really, really cagey about these 6 arrests. Obviously, we don't get to hear the names until people have appeared in court. But they wouldn't even give us the other 2 names, is my understanding, of the 3 that appeared in court today. But you can tell us about Bruce Nimmerhout. That was the case you went to today. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Yes, what we know about the appearance of the people that have been arrested, particularly the 3, is that, first of all, there are no special judicial processes which have been initiated for these people to appear, and it does appear that they won't have any special court proceedings that will try them separately from the judicial system, as was suggested by the Department of Justice. And this morning we saw Bruce Nimmerhout, he's the West Rand leader of the Patriotic Alliance, that appeared in court, being one of the people that was appearing for allegedly telling people to block roads that were leading to the towns around the West Rand. He's of course denied this, but the NPA has lauded the arrest and his appearance in court. He was remanded in custody and he'll be back in the dock again next Monday. Let's have a look at what the NPA spokesperson in Gauteng had to say.
Our allegations are that he circulated a voice note on social media platforms inciting the members of society around the areas of Krugersdorp, Randfontein, to commit public violence. Most of those details, obviously, they form the merits of the case, and they will be heard in court. But all in all, as the NPA, we view these cases in a very serious light. As you might be aware that it's incidents such as this one that we are alleging as the NPA that has promoted confusion, has threatened the safety and security of ordinary South African citizens, and it is therefore important as law enforcement to deal harshly with whoever that is alleged to have been involved in inciting violence, so that we can maintain or we can promote the safety and security of South African citizens.
Of course, the Patriotic Alliance were out in support of Bruce Nimmerhout. What did they tell you?
Well, they believe the police have the wrong man. First of all, they're denying that the person's voice in the voice note that was circulated allegedly by Nimmerhout is Nimmerhout himself. And they've gone a step further. Of course, you know that in the aftermath of the looting and while it was happening, a lot of the Patriotic Alliance councillors and supporters across Gauteng had been guarding malls, particularly in El Dorado Park. And the PA going further, saying that their leaders were only encouraging people not to loot the malls. They believe that Bruce Nimmerhout has been wrongfully arrested, and they're denying that he ever made those statements in the first place. I spoke to the City of Johannesburg's councillor Ashley Sauls about this.
Firstly, we must say that law enforcement has been irresponsible in how they are handling this case. They have, as we all know, they have made public his personal information. They've made public where he stays. And that obviously puts his family in harm's way as it stands now. So all around, law enforcement has not treated Leader Bruce properly. Firstly, they arrested him apartheid style. They walked into his house. They had no warrant, no search warrant. They took all the family's phones and then of course arrested Bruce on false charges. We must state publicly, this is false charges. He was wrongfully arrested. There is no such thing. And then they were boastfully putting on all social media platforms that they actually were so efficient and traced back the actual voice note to his phone, which then implies that it originated with him, which again is a lie. We know now factually that voice note did not originate from Leader Bruce. What further saddens me is we come to the court. It breaks me so much. In El Dorado Park, as we know, that Nathaniel Julius was brutally killed and shot. But when the suspects was heard in court that brutally killed and shot a Down syndrome child, they didn't come into the court with chains around their legs. Bruce Nimmerhout, a leader of note in his community, someone that sacrifices his life to build and not destroy his community, walks in court today with chains on his legs.
So you can see very impassioned from the Patriotic Alliance saying absolute wrongful arrest. He's an upstanding member of the community. Where is he tonight? Is he still behind bars?
He is. He's been remanded for 3 reasons. Firstly, because the police say they still need to find more of his devices. Secondly, they need to interview more people that may have been in touch with him. And thirdly, because the police believe imminent arrests are going to happen. And they say that they don't want him out on the streets because this may affect who gets arrested. It's been postponed until next Monday, where the Patriotic Alliance says they'll argue for him to get bail, but of course the state intending to oppose bail.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for bringing us that update on one of the 6 people we now know to have been arrested in connection with allegedly instigating the riots and the looting that we saw across 2 provinces last week. Let's move now.